supporting student learning in the classroom and beyond. Help us make this the best school year yet.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
This is Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, good morning. This is Pete Ferguson on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. I'm joined here with Harrison, who's got up bright and early, running the board again. The hair looks good, so how you doing?
There we go. I was wondering what was
no
happening.
Problem.
There.
I said I didn't hear myself here. We'll go ahead and start that over again. I'm 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. This is Pete Ferguson, and joined here. Harrison and I were just getting engulfed with our hairstyles. I think AD would probably appreciate that. So
yeah, it's always funny when I need a haircut because it's we got a few guys in here that wish they could have a little bit of mine.
You got a whole crew going on, but no, a week before the celebration of Christmas, and so it's the last show of the year, and so I just want to throw out a couple of appreciations just before the show gets away from us. But first off, just thoughts and our well wishes out to DP, who I had a procedure, but he's been uplifted and just keeps everybody going. And so I just personally want to offer some thanks and appreciation to him just for this opportunity. And it started with a conversation out on a dock over, I think, at Brewski's, and he was just like, you got to be telling these stories on the radio and get some people out there. And little did I know, 8 a.m. for the last, I think it's been about 3 months.
Yeah,
it's really truly been a blessing. And so I just want to wish him and his family the best, and as he heals and gets here. But he is truly a gem and has been somebody special to this community.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys are curious, DP, it does sound like he's doing okay and everything went as well as it should have. So no worries there. Obviously, just always keep him in mind. But everything seems to be going good for him as he's recovering. And those are things. Just leave it to DP to go and find people that have great stories to tell. It's as DP's kind of taken over the ticket here. This place just keeps branching out. DP's just got a good eye for finding people with voices. So, Pete, it's been great to have you on the show. And this being the last one, I'm sure DP will try to find a way to rope you in down in the future.
Most definitely.
But yeah, man, you've brought in guests and scholars and teachers, and it's just been kind of cool to, we just had Standing Bear in here, got to hear the story behind what that school's about and what they're trying to do. And it's just been an awesome kind of ride. So if you guys ever want to, listen to the podcast of these shows, you can always go to ticketfm.com. Bigger Than the Score. We have those all there for you. Because like I said, it's been an awesome ride, and we get to hear great stories just about every Sunday here.
Well, and I appreciate you, and I know Rico stepped in for a cameo on one Sunday, but you get up in the morning, and I know during football season, and they had some long nights, and you have just made anybody who comes into this studio just feel at home. And so again, I just want to share my appreciation and kind of give you your flowers at this point in time, because that's been really appreciated. I think about Lazarus coming in here, and I'm still the thought that he had when he talked about who he was. And if you haven't gotten a chance to listen, he just shared it. He said, I stutter. And he said, but what I was told is, make it afraid of you, not you be afraid of it. And how he walked into the studio and was nervous, and then at the end he was owning it. and so that's a true credit and testament to you. So thank you for all the time and everything that you put in, and everybody else who's been involved in the show. I know you don't get those thanks and appreciation. Sometimes you get those phone calls. So thank you.
Yeah, you bet, Pete. And like I said, I'm sure it's not the last time that we'll probably cross each other's paths. As knowing DP, he's always trying to get people back in here. But while we're here, we got about a couple minutes here before we got to go to break. Kind of what's the rundown? If you don't want to give out the guest yet, but who do we all have coming in?
Right now? We got a full house, and I think it's kind of a true testament to the time of year it is. It's that graduation time of year, and we were just talking earlier. Had the opportunity to be involved in some graduations, and so I want to shout out to all those that have graduated, those Lincoln Public Schools alumni, and I think just others who have. Again, I keep saying AD. I know he had a son graduate, but UNL got the opportunity to speak at the Bryan College of Health Science graduation that happened on Friday. As we said, UNL happened yesterday, and then Doane College, which has a lot of local individuals, had theirs yesterday as well. And so have some educators and some young scholars that are from the Bay High. And that's, I think we keep saying newest high school. I think every week I come in here and I say our newest high school, our newest high school, our newest high school. So people are like, man, they just got a bunch of kids flowing into Lincoln, Nebraska. But, the Bay is truly a unique and an exciting and electric place. And it's just been the concept of Mike Smith and a lot of others who have put some time, talent, and their treasures into it. And so I'm excited to have a full cadre of individuals. Brent, who's one of the educators there, kind of the mastermind. We've got Eden. I'm making sure I got everybody's name right. Taylor. He told me to remember like Taylor, like the Swift. And then we've got Hope as well. And so they're going to just share a lot about the Bay, what it is, how people can get involved in it, but also just, what it's invested in, what it's brought to this community as educators. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely. So you kind of hear it here first. We're going to hear a little bit from some people around the Bay High school, excuse me. So if you guys want to chime in at all, you can definitely hit up the Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. The show's going all the way up until 9 o'clock. So you got plenty of time to kind of get your questions in there. If you have anything for Pete or anything for the scholars or educators, definitely feel free. You can also call in as well at the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Same number, 402-464-5685. But we will go to break here. We'll be back in a little bit here, right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful. Tranquil company. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
When we're building homes for people, we're really trying to advise on the things that are going to create value so that when they go to sell it, they're going to have equity so that they can go build their second home.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, and they've built neighborhoods in and around Lincoln for over 25 years.
The year has been a great year for Aspen Builders. We have had many repeat customers. We've been very blessed with great office staff, with great employees and great subcontractors. We worked with a lot of new people building their dream home. We've built some great relationships. A lot of those relationships will continue. We'll be building them another new home down the road. So I'd like to take this time to wish all of our past customers and our future customers a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Make your dream a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your dream home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Nebraska
I'm Bruce
State
Jackovic.
Veterans
I served in the
are
United
here to
States
serve
Air Force,
veterans,
and
their
I've deployed
spouses,
3
surviving
times.
spouses, and Gold Star parents. Join your fellow veterans and their families at one of our homes in Bellevue, Kearney, Norfolk, or Scottsbluff. With a sliding scale to determine your financial contribution, an excellent clinical team, and plenty of fun activities, our homes are the perfect retirement choice. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/homes. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People Seeding Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extras. His little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, well, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket. This is Bigger Than the Score, and I'm Pete Ferguson, your host. And as I was talking with Harrison earlier, I'm excited about just the guests that we have from, and I know we keep saying it again, so I'm going to have to put it out there, one of the newest high schools in Lincoln Public Schools, the Bay High. And so it joined here with Taylor, who's a scholar, and he's going to talk about he's into music and all sorts of different things, and he's got a truck that he takes to come to school. And Brent, who's one of the, I guess, the phenomenal, not just instructors, I would say leaders over at the building. And so both of you, welcome. Glad to have you here this morning.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, me too. This is pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's get right into it. Brent, tell us a little bit about who you are and just, what is Bay High?
Well, it's my 11th year teaching.
Okay.
So, I have been in a couple different programs. I kind of started in a big high school, coaching football, coaching basketball, helping out with track. So kind of started there, and then I was like, I want to get into some more different unique educational opportunities, provide some different stuff for different kids. So then when I went to college in Lincoln, moved back for for kind of the second school, and it was a different focus program at that time, which kids came in the morning, starting at 7:45. We're really into computers. I mean, it was like computer programming,
Right.
computer science type stuff. And then I was at Bryan Community Focus Program, helping out with kids that, just need a different environment besides the big high school. And then I listened to the Rabble Mill and Bay High staff kind of pitch, or the Bay pitch Bay High. Super excited, wanted to be part of it since they pitched that to some LPS teachers. So here we are, year one, trying to get through and get it figured out.
Well, and awesome. I know there's a lot of people that have been involved, but kind of the brainchild of Mike Smith. And so those that may not know, the Rabble Mill and the Bay, and just how that all came about, wanted a place for scholars. And I don't say non-traditional scholars, because I think a lot of people say, well, it's those kids and this kid, just another alternative, another option for scholars to continue and be educated, become aware of different things, and have access to, some of those things that may not traditionally be in our normal high schools.
Yeah, like we've had a great opportunity to meet with, I think we've met with 8 different partners already.
Wow.
And went to go see their space and be in their space. Like kids were super excited to go to Arch Rival and to kind of check out their marketing firm and how they do their day-to-day stuff. And then they also were around and hung out for a whole day, hung out with the juniors for a day, and we're just in our space, and kids got to connect with them, talk with them, and kind of network with them however they kind of just want to do. Basically just chat them up.
We'll see. Clint at Arch Rival. Now, I remember him from a while ago, and their big thing was they did the advertising for spam. Yeah. And so that was like, if you don't, and I think everybody out there is like, what's spam? You got to try spam at least once. But their marketing on how they just promoted spam to be the greatest thing, the greatest food ever, was pretty neat. So, well, tell us, when you talk about focus programs, for those that don't know, and then I want to kind of turn over to Taylor, like, what is a focus program?
It's kind of that. It's another school choice that you have.
Okay.
Which is kind of a big thing, if you pay attention to politics.
Oh, yeah.
Nebraska right now. It's school choice. So there is arts, there's science, there's TCA, and then there's Bay High.
Okay. And TCA is the Career Academy. Yeah. For those don't know, it's a partnership with Southeast Community College.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Career Academy. So arts is more, those that want to have that artistic ability, drawing, all that fun stuff. They can do that. You have science, which is housed at the zoo, actually.
Okay.
So they have access to the zoo every day, but they're kind of that more science AP kind of level courses on that one. TCA obviously is housed at Southeast Community College. So they have that opportunity to get some of that college credit and go in there. And then you have the Bay, which is, I like to say, kind of the hustler program.
There
like
you go.
The hustlers of business, kind of, they want to work for what they want to do in their passions a little bit.
Right.
So we have tons of kids that want to do photography and video. We have some that want to do audio, like music, podcasts. And we also have a bunch that already have like their own business. Like we have a bunch of seniors that are into thrifting, and going and finding clothes and reselling it. So they're kind of huge in that. So
awesome. Don't let my daughter hire any of them. I'm a little concerned on that. Hey, again, it's 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score, and we're here with individuals from the Bay. And next, Taylor, who is a scholar there, and he's got a really a cool journey. So Taylor, welcome. But tell us a little bit about just your educational journey, and then want to ask you, like, why the Bay?
Yeah, so first it was around like middle school, and Mike Smith actually went to my school down in Adams. We went to Freeman, and he gave us a speech about I guess it was basically about his story, and it was just more of like an inspirational speech. And then he mentioned Bay High being an idea in the back of his head. And I was like, well, I'm probably not going to be in school by the time that starts up, so I probably don't have a chance. And
so you didn't know Mike real well, so that was going to happen like next week. So
yeah, so a couple years later, and the Bay High actually ended up kickstarting, and I saw an advertisement for it, and I was talking to my counselor, and I'm like, I really want to do this, and she goes, okay, so let's do it then. And I'm like, so don't we have to be going to a host school at Lincoln? She goes, yeah, so let's get you in a host school at Lincoln. So we signed up for Southeast, and we just kept making emails and kept, meeting with as many people as we can that were like linked with the Bay until I got accepted. And then now I just make the drive about an hour or so every day, and I come spend time at the Bay and work on my craft, which has been an amazing experience.
Wow. And you told us a little bit about your craft. You're into music. And so tell us how, like, what are you into in regards to that, and how has the Bay provided you an opportunity to kind of expand that, expand your love, so to speak?
Yeah, so about last year is when I found my passion in music, and I just love like expressing myself through it. So I do a lot of different genres. I've done indie, I've done pop, I've done lo-fi, hip hop. Try to do as many as I can. And the Bay has given us basically just a lot of materials. We and my friend Brett, I know he's listening right now, so shout out Brett.
Okay.
And we went down to Walmart and we bought just a couple things to set up in one of the empty rooms, and we created our own like vocal recording room, which just came a long way. But we've already recorded songs in it, and they've just given us that space to be able to do that. And then another thing that we've done is we had a school activity. It was a concert, and they gave me a stage to perform on, and that was my first time performing, which was also a very surreal experience. It went very well too.
Awesome. Now I have to ask the question: what would your favorite artist?
Favorite artist is Logic, hands down.
Okay, I was going to ask if you can do anything special with Keith Sweat, a remix or a composite tape. You don't even know who he is, do you?
I have no clue who that is.
Oh my goodness, we need to open up a different high school. We'll get back to that. I'm not going to be too offended by that, but we'll get to that. Hey, Brent, tell us a little bit, like what kind of, you got phenomenal scholars in here. So you got an individual from Adams, you got individuals from Lincoln, but like, what's the type of scholar, like if we walked into the Bay, Harris and I walked in today, who are we gonna see?
I mean, it's a great variety. I mean, we have kids from all over from Lincoln. I mean, we have kids that are from Northwest. We have kids from Southwest. We have kids from East, Lincoln High. I mean, we have every high school represented in our building, which I think is awesome.
Right.
And having just that whole community piece of it. You have kids that, if you know the Bay, grew up at the Bay. And then you have some kids that the first day there for us was their first day being at the Bay, and never like we're going to the school, but what's this thing that everybody else is talking about that makes this place so special and so magical? So I mean that's great to see too. But then we're also choice. So like really, if you go to school in Lincoln or if you go to school anywhere, like if there's space, you're more than welcome to come be part of it. So I know we say it's part of LPS, but as Taylor and as we know, like if you want to be part of it, we'll figure out a way to make it work.
What I think the cool part is part of the community.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that Mike and everybody that he's associated himself with has said, like, I don't want this just to be this standalone thing. This is it's a part of the fabric of the community. And so when you think about like Dr. James Blake, who's been instrumental and kind of, I don't want to say the superintendent, so to speak, of focus programs, that was one of the things is like, I don't want to be disconnected from other aspects. So there's the connection with UNL and your other partners where you talked about Arch Rival and other entities, and I think that's the really, really cool part about what you get with the Bay.
And that's I think the good part too, because in a big high school, you can have speakers come in, but I mean you run through 200 kids maybe for one class, 7 periods a day, where we have a group of 40 to 45 for a 2-hour block, and they can come really get to know the kids, really invest in them. So I think that's where, like, when we approach businesses, they're really into it and really want to do, try to invest in the kids and be part of the kids' life. So
awesome. So Taylor, you talked about your journey and what you're doing, but like what has been highlights for you during your time at the Bay? Like actually having Mike come and speak, and then you're like, this is not going to be really something that might happen or whatever. And then all of a sudden you're there, you're in it. What's been one of those cool moments that you're like, wow, this is we're really doing the darn thing?
Definitely the performance.
Okay.
It was just an idea and we set it up. And at first I wasn't even supposed to be performing, but then some things went wrong, which made some more things go right. And I ended up being able to perform, which was like, to me, that was something if you would have told me last year, I would have been on stage performing in front of like people screaming my name like they were.
You are Keith Sweat. See, you already got some of the same thing. He's got a song. There's a right and a wrong way to love somebody now. So there you go. Just trying to help you out.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But, just that whole experience, like if you would have told me last year that I would be on stage doing this stuff, then I would have said you're lying. Like that didn't make any sense.
Right.
There's no way I was gonna be able to do that. So like that just whole experience has definitely changed my way of thinking, my mindset towards this whole, like, what I'm trying to do here.
Awesome. And when you talked about that, it's just like, getting there and being on stage, having people scream your name. I mean, like most people think when they're thinking about high school, like that doesn't happen in my high school. Like the only time somebody's screaming my name is when they're telling me I got to go to the principal's office, this, that, and the other. And so, I mean, you're basically saying like, man, this school can be really, really cool. And so tell me what the educators there and the experience, like what makes it someplace that you want to come to each and every day?
The biggest thing for me is the teachers. It's like what makes a good teacher, what makes a kid like really enthusiastic about what they're doing in that class is how they run the class, and taking that extra step is very important, especially to kids, because they do notice that stuff. And when I see the teachers taking extra steps to like connect with me and see what I need to pass that class, it makes classes way less stressful, and it makes me want to do those classes. And especially they try to make the projects like something that you can use in the future as well. So it gives me that little bit more motivation to do it. So doing these assignments and doing the things that they ask us to do has never been really difficult for me, just because of how they run it and how they treat the kids there.
I think that relevance of having educators, relationships do matter. And I think,
Absolutely.
you've shown what that is. You're here at 8 a.m., but also just making sure that you're prepared for a global economy. And I think those aspects of what you've talked about, getting this hands-on experience, that experiential learning is huge. So Brent, tell us about, like, obviously this has been a journey. You've had kind of a, you said about 11 or so years of just in education. What has this journey been like? Like basically a brand new program, a brand new school. You weren't in your location right off the bat. And so you're smiling about that, but I also know that presented probably some challenges as well.
Yeah, that was shout out to Lincoln Children's Zoo for welcoming us for the first, I think it was 10 weeks of the semester. So that was an adventure that we did that. Wow. So I mean, not having your own space and having to share a space was had its challenges. Was probably a good way to say it. But our kids were great. They kind of owned being there. I think at the end they were like, all right.
They're like, we've seen the giraffes already. We can't go feed them anymore. They know me by name. I know them by name. I've got an issue. They took that piece of lettuce. Yeah. So I wanted that for lunch. So.
Some people really wanted a train ride, and I almost missed out on the train ride.
Oh, okay.
So they were
a good train ride.
Super excited to do the train ride, and just we did some fun things just at the zoo,
awesome.
as we could, and kind of owned it. But then COVID and just distribution stuff just kind of messed with us being there on time.
Right.
So now we're there, and distribution stuff. We still don't have interior doors, so like it's just something that the kids they've been like, it's all right, we'll make it work. And, they've kind of just owned the building, which has been great, because I mean, the kids could have been not nice about it, I guess is a good way to put it. And they've really just been like, it's okay, we'll work through it. No problem.
Well, and you talked about that, just the scholars, but also you got staff there as well. And so staff is being flexible in a time that, education, I hate saying people's like, oh, it's a lot of work. I mean, your staff is investing. I mean, nobody wants any more work, but your staff is invested, from the SIM to the executive secretary. And so, giving a shout out to your staff, like, what does that look like for them? And what would you want to say about the staff at the Bay that people don't know, as they're not there day in and day out?
I mean, I think first is that just their love for the kids. Wow. And they're just completely invested in them, and want to make this probably their greatest opportunity that they have. I think that's number one, and shout out to them for that. And then next, just, when I've said a couple of days is, all right, we're pivoting on what we've had planned, and then doing something completely different. They've went and just rolled with it, which has been awesome.
Well, Taylor, as we close out this segment, I want to give you the last word. What would you want to say? You got your 20-30 second sales pitch, to people that need to know about the Bay, and you're on air and you're cutting the promo. Harrison's going to go ahead and put some cool Keith Sweat music behind the background for you. What do you want to say about the Bay?
The Bay allows you to give the opportunity. If you want to put in work to do something, you can do it here. That's the biggest message through it.
Wow. Well, hey, Brent, Taylor, both of you, I want to thank you. I appreciate you. I know the semester's coming to an end, and so some well-deserved time off, but knowing educators, they don't ever get that. As a scholar, I know you've got long days where you work, but best of luck to you on your finals and as you kind of close out the semester. And I'm looking forward to the Key Sweat concert at the Bay. We don't have a date quite yet, but we'll go ahead and do it with all remixes involved. So we'll be back with our next segment on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. And right after this.
Allo means business. Allo means local business. No business. If you need reliable phone and internet connectivity, you need Allo. Local service and same-day dispatch. Free communication. Rely on Allo. Allo means business. Visit allofiber.com/business.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
I'm Chris Jackmick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jack, to suicide. The majority of suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara to honor Pulse victims.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us. Together is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Amethyst and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband did action. Sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to monitor your pressure in 4 steps. It's with a monitor.
We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and
Better and federal benefits and services. Do you want help navigating the application or appeals process? Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. You've served our country, now let us serve you. Visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Benjamin Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. I agree. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. I grew up in Nebraska, attended our local public schools, and became a teacher. It wasn't easy, but it's the best investment I've ever made. Teachers are encouraging everyone to invest their time in learning. Please join us in that effort. Support public education.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Back to Bigger Than the Score with Peter Ferguson from Lincoln Public Schools on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. I'm Peter Ferguson with Lincoln Public Schools and Peter Ferguson BHS LLC, and Harrison's here on the board, and we've had a great segment with individuals with Brent and Taylor from the Bay, and we're going to continue rolling on. But hey, Harrison, you want to share information if people want to text in or give some shout outs?
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys want to chime in here at all, you can hit up the Sartor Heyman text line. That's 402-464-5685. Or you can also hit up the Honda Lincoln hotline, same number. You can call in that way, 402-464-5685. Like I said, we got Taylor and Hope in here, and as well as Pete, so a couple of scholars. So if you guys have questions, that's a way you can reach us.
Awesome. So next up, we've got Hope and Eden. And now the cool part about this is one of them told me, they said this has been their dream since they were 3 years old. So I hope SIP's listening, because they said they were regular call-ins at birth to SIP. So he might recognize, I don't know, what was your name? What was your call sign when you called in?
I don't think I had one. I just kind of.
You want to just say hi to SIP? You want to say hi to SIP real quick?
Hi, SIP.
There you go. So we just throw that out there. Well, hey, Hope and Eden are both scholars at the Bay High, and so I'm glad to have them here. And so I maybe just want to start with one of you. Just go ahead and maybe share who you are and just share kind of your educational journey.
Yeah, so I'm Eden. I moved here from California a few years ago, and I started at Cabot. Then I went to Scott, then Southwest, and my freshman and sophomore year, I mean, I had friends, obviously, and but then when I got to the Bay, Hope and some of our other friends came along, and I don't know, it's just been a really transformative journey with making new friends, finding my passion and everything.
Awesome. And Hope, how about you?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Hope Shortridge. I'm a junior at Lincoln East High School, Rural Sparks.
Okay, go ahead.
Had to throw that in there.
There you go. Class of 91 right here now.
Yep. I'm a sports content creator for my high school. I'm on the newspaper, so I do a lot of writing sports stories for that. Keyword sports stories. I don't like to write other ones.
Okay.
And yeah, when I heard about the Bay at this time last year, it was kind of for photographers and videographers, and that's kind of what I was doing at that time. So I was like, this is perfect. I get to do what I love for school in the morning. What could be better? So I was super excited to apply, and I got in, and I'm a very plan my life out person. Okay. So I did a few classes in summer school and one in the fall just so I could come to the Bay and still graduate.
So you've talked to both of you talked about a little bit about like what excites you and what brought you, but like if people who don't know and have never seen the building and never just walked in, like what is the Bay? And so Hope, maybe start with you.
Yeah, so I'm one of the people that, as Brent talked about, I had never walked into the Bay except for like our open house and maybe an info night.
Okay.
Even then it got completely like redone so we could do like school there. But honestly, I'd say it's just a place for people to feel comfortable and allow themselves like to express themselves and be creative. Like what's that place? I don't even know what the rooms are called. The Venue.
Oh,
people
okay. Yeah.
people go in there, and that's I think where the concert was that we talked about earlier. And everything in the space is just so unique and that can be used so many different ways, and it's just an incredible space for people who want to learn differently.
So Eden, what attracted you to wanting to be, a student at the Bay, and just, honestly have to, it's not like you left your high school behind, but this has obviously been something that's a priority of a focus for you.
Right, totally. So I'm not great at regular schooling. Like sitting in a classroom, taking notes is not really my way of
Join
doing
the club.
things.
You are not alone.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you. There's another person out there.
So like when I was like, oh, the Bay's like, this alternative learning thing is what like, my parents told me about it. Obviously I went there for like our art and thrift and like like once for coffee, but like I wasn't really there before that. But then I was like, okay, I needed like an alternate learning environment. And then I went there and, we're making like marble runway things out of cardboard. So like,
oh
yeah.
Spent so much time on that.
There's a flashback coming on. It's
I do want to get to the text line real quick. We do have AD or Aaron Davis says, awesome stuff, Pete. Great guest. Mike Smith and his team have created an awesome space. So shout out AD for that one.
No, without question. And AD, I appreciate you. So go ahead, tell us a little bit. You talked about that space and you were creating marble things, but like I said, as you walked in, obviously there had to been like a key thing that attracted. So like Taylor talked about, he had heard Mike at a, in a, I don't say concert, but as a speaker at his school. Like for you, what was it? Was it the logo? Was it something when you walked in, you're just like, this is a place that really I see myself in?
Yeah, definitely. So, I sort of knew like a few people that went there. And I was like, maybe I know I like doing all this technical stuff and they have like a cool venue. And I've seen like some other performances online every once in a while. So like that would be fun to do. So
cool. So what is it like being the first? There's oftentimes people like, oh, everything's new and it's shiny. Right now you don't have doors. So your hope is they get to experience that as the year goes along. But there's something different about being the first. And so what are some of the really cool things about it? But what are some of the things that are like, man, this is, being the first, I didn't realize this was going to be this kind of challenge.
Yeah, I think for sure the biggest one was just not being in our own space, like being not stuck, but like being blessed to have a conference room every morning at the Zoo.
Look at that way our word. Being blessed. I was so blessed to be in that conference room for 10 weeks.
Yep, it was 12.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Just so you know. So I think it got really easy to get discouraged because it felt like there was a lot of things that were out of our control that we hoped would happen, but we had to kind of change direction. And so just learning how to like work through that and adapt our plans, but also make use of the time that we do have to actually be productive with our space.
And I think as you talked about that, just kind of not knowing all the inner workings, but, thanks to Lincoln Public Schools and also the city of Lincoln and honestly, the Lincoln Children's Zoo, that they provided and were opening to provide that space. Cause I know there's another school going there and we can make light of it, of, the animals and this, that, and the other, but that was a collaborative opportunity and partnership of exposure. So thank you on that. For you, like what, when you think about it, what's it like being number one?
Well, one thing that I'm really looking forward to is we just had an entire project where we had to pitch our ideas for like drawing on the walls and like painting and everything. So we get to do that, which is really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
one of the downsides is definitely being like a guinea pig, because like a lot of the time it's like we're gonna try this and hopefully it turns out well, you know. So
and sometimes our other teacher Ethan is like, I'll be honest, that did not work well.
That authenticity, that honesty. So as you're talking about putting things on the wall, like what kind of concepts, what kind of ideas came to the forefront for that?
Well, we do have these like podcasting, like audio recording areas that I was like, each of them was going to be like a theme. One I think was space theme, another one was retro and everything. So like we have a lot of like artists in Bay, definitely. So like they can draw. I don't know. Like, yeah.
No, that's cool. That's cool in itself. So like, tell us a little bit about like, what does your future hold? You talked about a little bit, you want Sipple's job. That's what I heard earlier, is that you want to come in, you're in the right place. You're at 93.7 The Ticket. DP, if you're listening, Sip, she's coming for you. She will be calling in each and every day.
Remember the name.
Yeah. Right there. We got shots fired. But what does your future hold?
So specifically coming up in the spring, I have a twin brother who's on the baseball team.
Okay.
And baseball is my favorite sport. So I'm going to do a lot of content creation stuff with that, maybe dibble into a little podcasting stuff, broadcasting, anything like that. And my personal goal at the beginning of the year was to cover, and when I mean cover, I mean like take pictures at a sporting event, all varsity sports at my high school. And I've accomplished that for fall, all 6 of them. And winter, there was 4, but now there's 5 because of bowling.
Right.
So I think just really closing out on that goal is going to be huge for me. So while accomplishing like all the stuff I'm going to be doing with baseball. So I'm really excited to just kind of grow my brand and figure out what I want to do in college.
Awesome. I think you're going to crush it. You're going to crush it. And remember the name, as she said. I appreciate that. Eden, what about you?
Shooting for the Stars, Broadway, tech management.
Right.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But one of the things that like, especially Bay, like originally when I was planning for college, I was like, I want to go out of state. I hate Nebraska, blah, blah, blah. And because I just didn't have my place. And now like at Bay, I'm like, you know what? I could go to UNL. I like it here. Like people are chill, you know?
Right. And I liked how you talked about that space. Talk about, I mean, you've already shared a little bit about how that's in, but talk about the educators at the Bay and how they've created like, okay, this is a space that I can see myself in.
Totally. Shout out to Matthew. He always is hyping us up.
Okay.
I love him.
Ultimate hype man.
Yes,
Right there.
real.
100%.
A lot of the teachers in general just are really, really like get to know you, will like sit down with you. We have like couches and everything. I'll be like working on the couches and like, Kayleen and stuff will just come over and be like, what are you working on? Like, do you need any help? And it's like just really, really personal, which like you don't get at a normal high school.
Yeah. You can tell so much how every single person on staff, whether that's our administrator, Michelle, principal, Dr. Blake, Bobby, who she doesn't have like insulation by the front door. So she's there shivering every day. And she brings us mints. She sets out mints for us. Like that's
she's giving you wintergreen mints to know that she's cold. So she's waiting for a blanket for the holiday season.
But they all just care and love us so much, which you can really feel. And it just makes being at the Bay so much better.
I think that's one of the coolest things is, like I said, like unprompted, you all just named people. Like when you talk about, Kaylin, and you talked about Bobby, and you talked about Dr. Blake. I mean, you named people from, administrators to individuals that, are there and that you see each and every day and how they care. And like I said, I keep always saying that relationships matters. Like she brings you mints. I mean,
they're good.
Yeah. They're not those old people mints that you. What? Tell me, what kind are they? Are they ones in the green foil, or are they ones in clear wrapper?
They're in clear wrapper, and they're like red and white stripes, but they're the ones that are so soft that you can chew them.
Oh my goodness, she went to the spot then. Okay, we might have to look into that.
And yeah, definitely with like
shout out Bobby.
Personally, like administration at my home high school feels so distant. Like I don't know any of my administrators, but here like I'll just go and like hang out with Bobby sometimes, like it's so cool.
That's what's a moment that you're hoping. So, obviously it's a choice school and people get that opportunity to choose. And so what is something that you would tell to somebody that's kind of looking around to say like, hey, the Bay is a place for you?
Definitely like the inclusivity, like people ever there like feel really loved. Like I don't know if you have a bracelet on, but like our one of our classmates made bracelets for all the girls in Bay, and like that was like the sweetest thing ever. Like
Yeah.
everyone will always check in with you, and like you know, there's no like cliques. I mean, there is like a little bit, but everyone is just sort of
because they knew each other.
Yeah, that's the only reason like people hang out with each other.
And I think like ultimately it's just there's definitely a different vibe like with being at the Bay, like because at the zoo it kind of felt like everyone was kind of watching us, but here at the Bay I feel like
Well,
everyone,
it's a zoo.
Yeah,
It's a zoo.
It's
That's-
a zoo.
no, I'm just-
They don't like our skateboards, but everyone I feel like is more relaxed and feels open to be creative and be their true selves, which is like I think improved our creativity and made the place better.
So, you know, as you look into just like Taylor talked about, just like what makes a top-notch educator? Like, you know, obviously we have phenomenal schools. We have 9,000 some employees in Lincoln Public Schools. But as you're looking and you're kind of sharing, you know, to other people, like what makes a top-notch educator to you?
Well, I think someone who just you can tell truly cares about you and your passions and what you're doing, but beyond that, go out of their way to help you achieve those dreams and passions. And like Ethan, he didn't go the traditional teacher route, but like someone who just walked in would never know that. He's an
Wow.
incredible teacher who makes us all feel so safe and welcome every day. And Brent puts up with us every day. So he kind of has to lay the hammer down sometimes.
That's
so,
no, that's
we love Breathin' basically.
Yes.
Which
Awesome.
is Brent and Ethan.
So Ian, I'm gonna have you. So I've been to a lot of graduations. It's that time of year, et cetera, et cetera. What would you say in a graduation speech to individuals?
Thank you for caring about me, just like individually, like knowing that someone is there for me, like when I'm not having like the greatest time, is like really means a lot, definitely.
Awesome. And words of advice. It's finals week, you know, for like a number of scholars across this community. Like, what is that? What are those golden nuggets that you all would give to them as they kind of close out the week?
Yeah, just try not to get too overwhelmed, you know, try and manage what you have to do, but also take breaks to eat chocolate.
Wow, so much better than my answer is like it's C. Answer C.
Yeah,
I would say like
Oh, Harrison, I think we got something in on the text line.
Real quick, let's see. 8511 asks, I am so hyped on these young adults. This is our future. The future in Lincoln is bright. And then they ask, is Taylor gonna perform? So still got some questions on Taylor.
All right, Taylor. Hey, before we end, I think we got a couple minutes. I want to get your thoughts on like that grad you gave originally, like kind of what are some thoughts for those finishing, and then Taylor, we're gonna put you on the mic here.
My thought is that I know 90% of students do not get enough sleep. Like sleep a lot and eat good food. That is my suggestion.
No Netflix binge. So, hey, you all have been absolutely awesome. We're gonna continue the segment, but Taylor, we've had multiple requests to have you perform, and so coming to the mic here, I hope is going to be willing to share. Taylor, what do you got? What do you got for people? I gotta find it. Okay, well, so while he's finding that real quick, for both of you, talked about like your future aspirations and things that you want to do. You know, as you look at like the Bay and as you look at just kind of other things that you want to do in your life, like who have been mentors in your life?
I think for me, we have someone at the Ravel Mill staff named Audrey, and she's kind of doing what I want to do, just in a different realm. Like, I would like to do stuff media wise, just put sports in front of it. Anything sports, I'm down to do.
Awesome.
And so she's been a huge mentor to me, helping figure out how to use some of those softwares. So has Brent. And so it's just been really cool to work with her.
Awesome. And what about you? Like, who's been a mentor to you in your life?
Kayleen, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
she's like so kind, and she's always like, if you have time, like come and hang out. Like, I'm very busy, especially with like all my theater stuff. So like having someone like be like, yo, come and hang out is like the nicest thing ever.
So Kayleen, I know, is like I said, she's a DJ as well, and
Heck yeah.
absolutely, I mean, she rocks it if you have the opportunity. All right, Taylor, I'm gonna have you do something a cappella now. We ain't got the music. Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got.
All right. Get ready.
We'll scream in that. I know it's not like you were at the Bay screaming. Harrison will go ahead and raise it up a pitch. And you.
So I'm really bad at freestyling.
All right, let's go. What you got?
I've probably never freestyled like genuine me in my
There's a
life.
first for everything. You're the first you're one of the first bass scholars. There you go.
Actually, I know what I can do. I can play a song on my phone.
Go ahead.
and then I can rap over it.
All right, we got you.
I got a perfect song for this in mind right now.
Short sample here too. It's not
All
gonna
right.
do the whole thing.
Yeah. I'll do like 15, 30 seconds.
Yeah,
of that.
perfect.
Works.
All right, here we go. Make it. It's not that complicated. I would appreciate it if you got out of my way. If you're not here to pay that, I don't want it. I keep it 100. I'm not. Makes me happy. I'm done feeling crappy. I know it's sappy, but we keep it precise. Man, it's feeling pretty nice. I rolled the dice. I got a perfect 12. Put that on the shelf. I don't need no one else to help me, but my team. It's more than what it seems. I'm working every day. This is my routine. I'm only 17 and I work harder than all you people. My drive is just lethal, so they calling me shady. Man, cool the hating.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh man, that was.
I wrote that last year.
impromptu. That fantastic. Hey, like I said, we're Taylor up here. We got Brent. We've got Eden. We've got Hope. I want to just first, I'll say thanks to each and every one of you. This was an awesome way to close out the year on 93.7 The Ticket, Bigger Than the Score. I'm appreciative of each and every one of you, what you do and who you are. Again, I want to thank Harrison. I want to thank DP and Rico and the whole 93.7 staff. As I've always said, was Maya Angelou said in her quote, I often forget what people have done. I often forget what people have said, but I always remember how you make people feel. And without question, I hope we've made you feel a certain way. We hope we provide some access, awareness, and some insight into other aspects of Lincoln Public Schools, but also the community. So my hope is we'll see you next year, but please enjoy the holidays. Please enjoy the time. Take time with your family. Stay blessed. And thanks for giving me a bit of your time to listen to 93.7 The Ticket.